Okay, Tyra, we're going to go ahead and do an extension that we've got all the information we have together. Let's see, I'm going to take a look down here. If you look at the lower part of my screen, you'll see we have our UPay open, we have our PO summary open, and we have our MLA request form open. So that way, those are the main three documents that we'll be using to get the award extended. So what this means is that we already have an award in the system and we want to pull it up. So we want to go ahead and click over on this award tab here. And then we're going to start with the name. And we always start with MLA space dash space. And I think the name is Shandonia. So I'm just going to start with those letters and see what comes up. There we go. Jean-Marc Shandonia. And he has a few awards. He's somebody that, you know, normally has more than one, but it looks like these are already closed. So they're not expired, but they're closed. This one here seems to be that this is the one that we're going to be extending. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So the extension date, the end date here currently is at 4/30/2022. Today is 4/18, and normally if this was a brand new award, we wouldn't be able to open it this soon. If they said, well, we want to open it on 4/30, for instance, the start date. But this is an extension, and all we're going to be doing is extending the end date, and we're going to be adding funds. So over to your left-hand side where it says it's an active award, the current state, we're going to go down and say create modification. So I'm going to click onto this button here, and the name of the award is going to be the MLA. You can use the same one here. I'm going to just copy it, and I'm going to paste it. And brief description, I'm going to say add time and funds. So that way they know what we're doing as the as we extend it. We're going to look at the sponsor's modification ID, which what that is the purchase order number. So I'm going to go back here, make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to copy. Oops, it's going to let me do that. Okay, I'm just going to type it in, BB014. 75281. Okay, now the next area, it says award modification types. This is what we've got to tell it, what type of a modification are we doing. So all of these carryover, change advance type, none of those would apply. Close out the obligation, that could be something that we do down the road for another, a different type of a process. And what we'll be doing though is funding increment within time frame. That's not what we're going to be doing, because that would mean we're just adding more funds, but we're staying within the time frame. This one is we're doing a funding increment with added time. So that's what we want to do for this particular one. So there's a few of these that you would use whenever we do a modification or extensions. And like I said, funding increment within the time frame could be one of them, or a no cost extension. And what that would mean is that we're just going to extend time, but we're not going to add funds at all. We're just going to, whatever is remaining on the purchase order would be utilized, and that would be what's available to them. But in this case, we're going to be doing funding increment with added time. So we're adding both funds and we're adding time. So we're going to click on continue. And here is where we want to add, these are the funding allocations. So right now, you notice there's $45,249.
Right.
And if we take a look at the purchase order, I'm going to go to the bottom here. The purchase order says $92,000. So because this is an existing MLA, that means there was already originally funds put on there. And so the original amount of the funds and what we're going to be adding, which is this $46,862, should equal the same of what we have into this purchase order here. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and get my calculator off to the side. And we're going to go back to here. So we're going to add. And the sponsor award reference number, again, is the purchase order number. Oh, I wish I would have written that down. Oh, there we go. Maybe I can do it. No, not going to let me. Let me write this down. 3301475 and it should pretty much be the same one that we had last time. So if we look at it right here, it is the same BB01475281, which is exactly what I have here. And the reason that this is important is because the purchase order, in order to do a true extension or modification, the purchase order needs to be the same. So they just have to do is revise the purchase order. Now, if for instance, they came back and they gave us a brand new purchase order, we'd then have to treat it as a brand new MLA. And that's not always optimal because sometimes they have money still left on the original purchase order and they want to use all the funds. Okay. So yeah, so here in the description, I believe we're going to just say what the amount of time is. So we're going to go back over here and look at the UPay, and this is 20%. So we're going to put that in there. So we're still doing the same thing as if we were doing a brand new one. So 22%. And then we want to go ahead and click on this. Our start date, I believe, is, let's look at the UPay. 5/1/2022. And our end date is 4/30/2023. That was 5/1, correct? Let me double check that and make sure. Looking at the UPay. 5/1/2022, yes, and then 4/30/2023. Okay, 5/1/2022, 4/30/2023. We want to go ahead and authorize it. Now the FMS short description. This is going to be, let's see, not incremental. I believe we're going to call it a amendment because we've added both time and funds. Let's see, or was this considered a renewal?
Good question.
Let's call it a renewal because they're extending it, right? So we'll call it a renewal. Now, what we need is enter the totals for this funding allocation. So this is the amount that we're going to get this time from our UPay form here. Okay, this is the 46,867. Don't fill out anything there. Let's say, okay. Okay, so now if we have the 45,249 plus the 46,867, that equals 92,116. And what does our PO say? 92,116. So everything reconciles.
Right.
That's exactly what we want. There is no salary cap. I think, let's see if I hit save. By hitting save, it'll update it. Continue. Upload sponsor and award documents. Go ahead and add that. And this is where we're going to add our UPay and our or you pay in our purchase order. Forbes, MLA, Shendonia. Continue. And after this, the contracts officer completes award modification. So there's another step after this. So now we finished it. We started the modification. So right now, the current state is this draft modification, right? So it's in draft form at this point. So what we want to do is we want to say modification setup is complete. And again, this is all on your left-hand side under my activities. So I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to go ahead and add the attachments here.
Okay.
Just to be, because sometimes I get a little confused here. Do I add them here? So if they have it in different spots, I don't think it's going to be a hindrance or anything for them. I rather that I have it, everywhere that they need it.
Right.
So I'll go ahead and add it in here and hit OK. Okay. Now we're still here off to the left side. So if we look at everything here, we want to do CO approves modification. So that's the next step because we're still now in CO review modification.
Okay.
So we're going to click on this. You're going to click on I approve. And let's go ahead and add the documents there again. And usually once you pull in this area, to go find the documents, it'll go back to it remembers.
Okay.
So again, I'd rather have it in every place than to miss a spot.
Right.
Okay, so it looks like it's processing. If you see down here, see that or not, right here, see?
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't find any, okay. And it's been approved. So if you look here, let's see. Okay, so it shows all the modification, everything's set up. We added the document twice. So it's all there. And now let's go back and let's take a look at the award. So I'm going to go into here and go back into award. So this looks like here is his award. I'll go ahead and I'll add it's not showing everything total now. Okay, so these are the authorized totals. So these two together would come to the total amount of the PO. Later on, we can go back. I think once we can also change those to add your name in here later on.
Okay.
But for now, I'll go ahead and I will save this so it's an active award, and then you can go ahead and do all of the memos.
Yeah.
And the only difference is this is going to be his extension. Instead of saying your new award, you're going to talk about the extension.
Okay.
Let's see, let me put this in. So it was pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Not too bad. I mean, compared to, doing do you see the difference between doing a brand new one and doing,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
quicker. Okay. Alrighty.